How's it going, everyone? It's Bomberman Dan, and we're back with the best of 3 between EG HuK and Liquid Ret. It is currently tied 1-1 in this best of 3 matchup. We saw Liquid Ret taking the first game off of HuK with some good Ling, Roach, Infester play, and HuK could just not hold on with his Stalker Immortal play. And that happened to be on Daybreak, and the last match on Antigua Shipyard, HuK won with a very nice mix of gateway units, doing a ton of damage against Ret, destroying his third, would not let Ret get a third down, and it ended up beating his Mass Roach army. And HuK again is deciding to Forge Fast Expand, which he has been doing for the last 2 games against Ret, and Ret in return has been expanding 3 times. So again, we're gonna probably see that again this game, because why deviate from the current builds that work. So we are in Metalopolis here, and that is kind of a rough spot for HuK, because on Daybreak and Antigua Shipyard, you kind of have an easier Forge Fast Expand, because we see this big open area right on the backside of the Nexus that would go down here, and you're gonna have to build a cannon, you're gonna have to build a little wall off or something, or 2 or 3 even extra cannons that you would need. Antigua Shipyard, great for a Forge Fast Expand. You're kind of receded a little bit, and you have that ramp that they have to go up to. So you kind of have this smaller area you have to close off. And Daybreak, he had to worry about a little ramp over on the other side of his natural. But it was still a bit easier than this big Metalopolis expand. And as well as Ret, his natural is again exposed as well. And his third is very far away. And open as well, you can get it from both sides, and so it's going to be kind of hard for Ret here to defend. So we saw some good creep spread by Ret in the first game between his bases, and that's what you like to see there. So his Roaches and his Lings could very quickly move from base to base, and so great defense there. And didn't focus creep spread forward for his offense, and just like see HuK like roll over it with an observer and stuff like that, and just destroy all his creep tumors. So decided to just connect his bases and make sure he was very well defended. And so that was some good play by Ret. We do see Ret's natural going down as well as HuK's, and we do see the Forge up in front and the Photon Cannon in the backside of the mineral line sort of there, and the pylon kind of finishing the wall off. And so what we're probably gonna have to see here for HuK, if he wants to just leave this open, he can, but if he really wants to keep it tight, a pylon back here to kind of stop Lings from there, and then like a cannon over here and stuff, so that they really have to run through cannon after cannon. And we saw this this placement here in the last game, and we do see the Ret throw his third down, like we've been seeing in the last games. This cannon, protects this gateway, protects this Nexus, protects this pylon, this Forge, and then, like half of the probes, just the ones that aren't going to gas. So kind of a thing to keep in mind, some very good cannon placement there. And we do have this gateway in the cyber core to go down in the back. We saw HuK kind of change his build up a little bit differently. In the first game, we saw the cyber core in the back and the gateway in the front, and then in the last game, we saw the gateway in the back and the cyber core in the front. And decides to throw them both in the back this time, just because I guess they're easier to defend. I don't know why you throw the cyber core in the front. I mean, sometimes you see like pylon, gateway, cyber core, forge, and stuff like that, which are buildings with a lot of health that you have to kill to get to like the cannon and the pylon and stuff. So we do see that a little bit differently. And I don't have the protection tab up, but there it goes. And we see a pretty typical standard build here by Ret. As last game we saw, he had his 3 bases down and went with both of his gas geysers in his main. So Ret seems to be sticking to his typical build against HuK. And HuK doing the same thing against Ret. So not anything really different from the other two. The problem with Ret might have had last game is he was very saturated. Like, he had his third saturated and really didn't have too much of an army to deal with HuK. So maybe we'll see in this game Ret, maybe keep that third a little undersaturated for a little bit and try to build up that army that he can defend against HuK with. And maybe that will be a little bit more beneficial there for Ret. Because in the other game, in the very first game that Ret won, he kept a good amount of speedling pressure up on HuK, and kind of kept HuK on his toes, kind of forced HuK to stop making his third expansion rather quickly and stuff like that. And I think that's what we kind of need to see from Ret, is to see some harassment or see some pressure to kind of let him get his third base up and like let him get on his feet. But we'll just have to see here. We do see the Roach Warren go down for Ret, and we've been seeing Ret go for some heavy Roach plays. In the first game, it looked like he was going to go Broodlords, but just decided to win it straight up with the Infestor Roach Ling, because he had a greater Spire down, and you know, why else would you have a greater Spire down than for Broodlords or a lot of upgrades. And we do have 4 gateways going down in the front of the natural, and it might be a big push here because we have 4 gateways up here in the main, and it looks like it could be a big attack here for HuK. We do have a proxy pylon up on the high ground over here, as well as a proxy pylon going down over here, and we'll have probably a very large warp of units here. That probe will be taken out, and it looks like this pylon might have to be canceled. It looks like HuK will be able to actually hold this pylon for the time being, because there are a ton of Zealots on the way, and it's not looking too good for Ret because he doesn't really have much. There are going to be 10 roaches on the way, but he's going to have to keep them all alive here. And he's going to have to make sure not to lose these ones, and has to get his roaches all together so he can very easily beat off this aggression. But it looks like it's not going to be too good yet, because we do have a big warping of Zealots, and these Zealots need to move in and attack. There we go. And Ret is not in a good position here, but he does have some roaches, and it is not looking too good because his army value is a little low because he does have a ton of drones on the field. And it looks like this actually might be it. With 22 Lings on the way, if he could get some good surrounds on these Stalkers, it looks like Ret could be in a very good position here. But there are a ton of Zealots in the main doing a ton of damage, and his main is almost completely taken out. And these roaches are going to clean up what they can down here. But if these Zealots get down here in a good mass, they could do a lot of damage. And Ret continuing to do a lot of damage here, trying to hold on, has to focus that fire down these Zealots, because if these Zealots make contact with these roaches, they'll be doing a ton of damage. And he needs to get these Lings around those Stalkers so that they can do a ton of damage. But these Zealots are still in the main doing a ton of damage, killing off roaches. And it's looking kind of either way for players. Liquid Ret did lose a lot in his main, and is going to look like losing that layer attack, which will be very crucial. And it doesn't look like Ret has much of anything at this point in time in the game, while HuK is still just powerhousing with all of his gateways that he made. And it looks like Ret might be in a lot of trouble here, especially with getting this third up, because his third is really mining. His natural, not so much, in his main, not at all. And these Zealots still in the main, just doing a lot of damage, and there's nothing Ret can do about that. And it looks like this might be GG for Ret, because he has to pull his drones here from his natural, and it looks like he won't be able to come back from this, even if he can really hold off of this pressure, because he really doesn't have much. Because his layer tech is going to fall, and there's the GG by Ret. So HuK wins this best of 3 between Liquid Ret. Great games by both players. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later.